Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to today's live. I am excited to be here with you. I'm about to say something that might make you really uncomfortable. So I want you to bear with me. What if being wrong was the best thing that ever happened? I know, your jaw is like dropped. You're like, I hate being wrong. If you hate being wrong, put a number 1 in the comments. If you don't care, put a number 2. I want to see where you are at right now. Because today I am sharing an idea that can change the relationship that you have with yourself, with others, and the world. So stay here. My name is Shari Alyse, also affectionately known as America's Joy Magnet, and I help those who feel stuck and frustrated in their lives, who know that there's more, reconnect back to themselves so that they can live a life of meaning, connection, and joy. So if you're watching live with me today, say hello in the comments so I know that you're here. Let me know where you're watching from. I love having my peeps here with me. So the reason why this topic is super important to me is because I spent a lot of my life really holding on to my beliefs. And anytime that you hold on to your beliefs, you shut yourself out from living a full and expanded life. Anytime that you are so committed to being right, you miss out on not only all of the beauty in the world, but all of the possible ways for you to grow. Hey, Amanda. Hey, Mark. Nice to see y'all. Thanks for saying hello. So stay till the end because I'm going to share with you a couple of questions that you can ask yourself so that you can grow as much as possible and you can have a huge perspective shift, because this is ultimately what it is about. So here's the question I have for you. What if you gave yourself permission to be wrong? What would your life feel like if you weren't so attached to your beliefs? And how do our beliefs form? Our beliefs are formed very often by the people in our lives, right? By this repetitive narrative that we hear over and over again, whether it's in our household, whether it's from teachers, whether it's from the media, or an experience that you and I have had, something that's happened in your life that has helped you form a belief. And the reason why you hold on to it so tightly, as if it's a badge of honor, is because our brains like to box things in. They like to make sense of things because, as you know, anytime you make sense of something, it makes you feel safer and more secure. So I'm just going to share with you a little bit about this major perspective shift that I had in my life. I am a survivor of childhood sexual abuse, but not just that. I came from a really, I'm going to call it a broken family. Not that they didn't love me, but the dynamics between the family was really chaotic, really hostile, and really wasn't a healthy environment for my sister and I to be around in. And so I started to form all of these beliefs and ideas about the world. If you know what I'm talking about, put a yes in the comments if you know that the way that you were raised has shaped your beliefs. And so what happened during this time is that some of the beliefs that I began to take on about myself were that I was unworthy, that I wasn't important or valued enough. I wasn't put in therapy after the abuse that happened to me. And so I internalized that message. The belief was that nobody cared enough about me to want me to feel better, right? I used to believe that because I was in this toxic place in my brain and my mind about the world and myself, that all these bad things happened to me, that there was a dark cloud that just hung over my head. And anytime something could go wrong, it would go wrong. I had the belief that if I just pushed down these emotions, that I wouldn't have to feel them and I wouldn't hurt. And so what ended up happening is that I was so locked in to a cage, a room that felt like there were no doors or windows. I was trapped in my own mind. But the moment that I realized that maybe, perhaps my beliefs and your beliefs are actually wrong, and I might be looking at something completely different than what it actually is, what happened for me is that that room that I was trapped in, suddenly there was a window. Suddenly there was some light coming in, and it made my entire mindset shift to, oh, maybe the way that I think about this person or this situation, maybe it's not actual reality. Maybe there's a huge perspective shift that I can take, and what happened for me is that my life blew wide open. What happened is that when you are willing to be wrong and not be so attached to the way that you think about a situation, you then invite the possibilities for healing. You then invite the possibilities for healthier relationships, for a more successful career, a more loving relationship with yourself. Amanda says here. So, what I want you to think about and the questions that I want you to ask yourself are, number one, is there another way to look at this situation or circumstance? Could I actually flip that coin over? And here's the thing, it's gonna be a little scary because, like I said, our minds want to keep us safe. And so in order to make sense of it, it's going to say, no, this is the only way that it is. And it's their fault, or it's the world's fault, or it is whatever. And so I just want to invite you to be willing to consider that maybe there's another way to look at this. And then the second question very simply is, could I be wrong? Because here's the interesting thing about you and I, right? We all see life from our own perspective. And so is my perspective wrong? Is your perspective wrong? Perhaps if we each gave each other permission to be able to have beliefs, to be able to be wrong, to give ourselves permission to make amends and to forgive, we can find common ground together, realizing that all of us are just living from our own lens and our own perspective. If this is making sense to you, put a yes, it makes sense in the comments. And let me know, is there a situation or a circumstance in your life right now that you can look at differently that might shift and transform everything for you? I'd love to know in the comments, because my greatest hope and wish is that you begin to believe in the possibilities of your happiness, your joy, your life. Once you do that, once you believe that there is hope and that there's possibility, everything opens up to you. So if you would like to stay connected with me and receive more inspiration, more practices, more tools, make sure you go over to my website, ShariAlyse.com, and subscribe to my weekly joy notes. When you subscribe, you are automatically going to receive 2 free chapters to my international bestseller, Love Yourself Happy. I would love to be able to go right into your inbox and spread a little joy. So as a reminder, you're welcome. As a reminder, don't stay so attached to your beliefs. Be willing to be wrong, because in your willingness to be wrong, everything may finally be right. Thank you all so much for joining me. I will see you back here on Friday. And if this inspired you in any way, please share this with your friends. Bye, y'all.